Welcome to another Wednesday edition, Froggy Wednesdays on the Stripe Show podcast. And remember, Stripe Show podcast is brought to you by OnCore Golf. OnCore, they design high-performance golf balls for players of all skill levels, all swing speeds. So get fitted for your perfect golf ball today at OnCoreGolf.com. Just because your buddy plays a golf ball doesn't mean it's going to fit you. The golf ball that you found in the woods doesn't mean that one's going to fit you. So you can get fitted once again at OnCoreGolf.com. So we have great guests every single week here on the Stripe Show podcast. Coming off the CJ Cup, we've got a champion from the CJ Cup, the 2020 CJ Cup winner, and the 2021 Charles Schwab Challenge. Ladies and gentlemen, two-time PGA Tour winner, Jason Kokrak. Jason, thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. Always fun being on the show.
Yeah, man. You know what? It's great to it's great to have guys on and get a perspective, because the perspective is so different no matter who you talk to on the PGA Tour every single week. And this week you played in the CJ Cup. I mean, let's be honest. First round did not go well. You probably hated the first round.
Yeah.
And then you come back second, third, fourth rounds and played phenomenal.
Yeah, I played solid. I think my head was just not in the CJ Cup. From the fact that I didn't feel like I was really defending the CJ Cup because it was not back at the course that I had won at. So a little different being at the Summit, but nonetheless, I had some other outstanding issues weighing on my person. So nonetheless, no excuses. I should have played a little bit better. But you know what? That's a golf course. If you hit it in the rocks, you can make some big numbers in a hurry.
Yeah, you know what? So the golf course, is there a reason it didn't go back where it was the year before when you did win?
You know what? I don't know what the issues were with it, but the time of year that the CJ Cup was this year was a little bit different. So the golf courses didn't have the amount of time they needed to mature, to grow the grass that they needed. Because out west they close down during the hottest part of the season, and then they have to actually reseed and get the grass growing again from there. So it's a long process. A lot of the golf courses had just opened up either that week or a couple days prior to the CJ Cup. I know Shadow Creek had just they hadn't even opened yet. So so the golf courses just weren't ready, time of year and different things like that. So unfortunately, not back at one of my favorites, Shadow Creek, but nonetheless, still fun with all the attention and the trophy, and they had me writing in Korean over there, so it was it was an experience. But nonetheless, the CJ people are extraordinary. They're good for the game of golf, and that's what we're trying to do, is grow the game of golf, not just here in the United States, but worldwide.
Right, that makes sense. As this week we're going to go over to Japan, the Zozo Championship. That field, another stout field. I think the Zozo kind of became a big event, kind of blew up when Tiger Woods won that event that year. If you remember, he started off with like one or two or three bogeys. He started off, didn't play very well, and then went on an absolute tear and got his 83rd victory. So that event's kind of blown up. And like you said, it is taking golf over to Japan and bringing some really good players with it and kind of showing our sport off to the world.
Yeah, without question. And not just the players on the PGA Tour going over there. This past week, I got to play with a couple Korean players, a couple Japanese players that, they're coming along. They're young guys, but, for them to be thrown in the mix with, the likes of Rory McIlroy, Justin Thomas, the guys that are playing on the PGA Tour, they're showing their game off and how it's coming.
Let's talk about, for example, the field this week was really, really good. I mean, it was great to see Rory win again. I know Rory had gone through a rough time. He said that before, I think the Saturday night of the Ryder Cup, he was done with golf. He was not going to play anymore for the rest of the 2021 calendar year, and then had a resurgence somewhat overnight, played well on Sunday. We saw the interview on Sunday where he was emotional, and then said he really just was trying to be himself. And I mean, I know you're not Rory, but what exactly does that mean when he says he's trying too hard and he's just going to be himself?
Well, I mean, every tour golfer. I got to play with Rory the first two rounds, so I got to see how he was hitting it that weekend. Hitting the driver, amazing. He actually was I think he led the field in strokes gained putting this past week. So, anytime a guy with that ball striking prowess putts well, he's going to win. But what he means is just, we're all striving to get better and better week in and week out. Whether it's listening to a different swing coach or, a short game guy, or listening to whatever it may be. I think he was just trying to get back to basics, free it up, and work on the stuff that he knows works for him instead of trying to change a few things to get maybe slightly better in a specific category. So I think he was just trying to free himself up, less swing thoughts, and go out there and play golf the way he knows how to play golf.
I mean, are there times, Jason, where you're out there and you just have too many thoughts going through your head? You got a setup thought and a backswing thought and a transition and a downswing. I mean, are there times that it gets like that?
Oh, without question. Anytime it goes a little wayward on the golf course. I mean, my coach Drew Steckel saw it this past week. I've been trying a few different drivers. I just haven't found a good one since I cracked the face of the one I was using to win Charles Schwab. Other than that, I was playing pretty good, but just slightly off in the game of golf, especially around a desert golf course, could definitely go a long way. But nonetheless, we'll get back to the basics and work on the same stuff that Drew and I have been working on for a couple years now.
So when you go out to play, obviously it's different. You've got to swing freely. You can't be standing there thinking about 5 different things while you're standing over a ball. How many swing thoughts can you have in a round?
Well, I think you can have a lot of swing thoughts during the round, but you have to limit them or compartmentalize and really kind of focus in on 1 or maybe 2 swing thoughts of, maybe a position you're trying to get in on the backswing and then something you're trying to do on the downswing. Any more than that, you're really going to have a hard time to free up the golf swing and let the club go. I see a lot of amateur golfers trying to, focus in on, 5, 10, 12 different things. And I'm just, and tour golfers are all notorious for doing it too. I mean, we do it just as much. We just have, the muscle memory to do it over and over again. So the best advice I can give anybody is just try to focus in on 1 or 2 and go from there. I mean, all the other ones will fall into place. Drew and I work on a lot of stuff to kind of counteract more than just one thing, one swing thought that is going to take care of multiple issues during the swing or, something that he's trying to invoke in me. And, it's been great, to be honest, since hiring David. I told my guys a couple of years ago when I hired Drew, when I hired D-Rob, I said, hey, you guys do the thinking, I'll pull the trigger, and we'll see how this thing goes. And the last 3 years been damn good.
Yeah, I'm definitely guilty of here's on my phone. So I make notes on my phone. Those are swing thoughts. Now, sometimes I'll read those before I go to the golf course, right? And they're all good. Like if I were to read you these, they're good swing thoughts, but you cannot think about all these at one time. Okay, it starts out slow, good tempo, and a wider backswing. Hands away from the head at the top. Face staying on spine angle on the way back. Right hip turns back. Don't sway. Consistent grip pressure. Feel like you're turning left. Hands to the ball first. Don't cast. Wrist. All that stuff makes perfect sense. But you can't think about that over the ball.
No. Exactly. I mean, I play a lot of golf with a couple buddies here at Hudson or Lake Forest, and I'll tell you what, I just try to tell them, I'm like, hey, focus in on one thing we're trying to work on. I could see them standing over the ball thinking about 10 different things. I'm like, hey, just go with it. Get one swing thought, free it up and go. We can fix other stuff. As long as I could teach you guys what it means to when you hit a certain shot one way, if you can learn from that shot and go from there. I mean, it's, it is technically an easy game, but there's no shot that ends up being the same every time. The basketball hoop's always 10 feet. The tennis court's always the same size. The football field's always the same size. I mean, the factors that come into the game of golf are endless.
It is in every tournament you play, but that's also one thing I love about our sport. And I always tell people this when people say to me, why do you love golf so much? And I say, well, because I love football. I'm a huge Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan. But I can't go get Tom Brady to throw me a ball. It just doesn't happen. If you like basketball, I can't play against LeBron James. But yet, if you love golf, you can go play on golf courses. When the tour plays a public golf course, you can go back to the back and you can tee it up and you can play it exactly the way you guys play it. And you get a whole different appreciation for how much better the average, and I'm just saying the average tour player is than anybody you've ever played golf with in your life.
Yeah. I mean, just the average guy on the PGA Tour is going to be able to go and shoot, 5, 6, 7, 8 under par at your local golf course. I mean, I play 2 golf courses here in Ohio that are short by PGA Tour standards. And when the greens are slow, I could throw darts all day long and I don't have to worry about putting it 3 or 4 feet by. And, the guys I'm playing with get a downhill putt and they're like, is this going to be fast? I'm like, guys, if you guys can't 2-putt this from 10 feet down the hill, then we've got some bigger issues than we need to talk about off the golf course. So, but hey, nonetheless, the one big thing, I'm one of those guys that gets a bad attitude every once in a while. But you got to go out and have some fun on the golf course. I mean, I have a blast playing with my buddies around here, but going out and competing against the game's best, it does drive you nuts. But you still have to go out there and have a little bit of fun with the guys that you're around. And that's the name. It is a game at the end of the day. I mean, you hear LeBron James talk about it. He loves the game of basketball. He loves playing. And I want to do this for a couple more years, but I also have other things I need to worry about in my life right now.
Well, you won after your 233rd start. That was in October at the 2020 CJ Cup. And then just a few months later in May, you win again. And that second win was, that was a damn good win. You had Jordan Spieth kind of in his kind of in his backyard, an event he had won before that I think most people thought he would win again. And Jordan was kind of visiting that resurgence that he had, and you won again. How hard is it to win on the PGA Tour?
Well, I mean, I am a 10-year veteran on the PGA Tour, and I had never won a PGA Tour event. So, a lot of guys would come up to me, Tiger, you name it. It's like, it was about time you finally got your win. So, to win the events that I did is, huge for me, huge for my confidence. I mean, I won a limited field event, and then winning a Colonial to get my name on that board is huge, especially winning against the guys that I beat. Both Ryder Cuppers, both President Cup players. It's just kind of one of those things that, I know I'm working in the right direction. Always been kind of a slow learner, but once I do learn how to win, the floodgates are open. So little off the game right now, but down the road, it's definitely trending. But to get my win against Jordan in his home state with I will say some fiery fans. I had a couple guys walking outside the ropes, and they said these guys were brutal towards you. I was like, I heard some of it. I didn't hear all of it, but nonetheless, keep your head down. Let the tournament come to you, and let your game speak for itself. I mean, he's an unbelievable player. Neither one of us had our A games, but we separated ourselves from the field, and we had a nice duel coming down the stretch.
I know it wasn't easy, but was it easier to win your second time than it was to win your first time?
The first time wasn't easy, but playing out in Las Vegas, the ball doesn't move or curve as much. I knew the golf course better than anybody else on that, that was playing that tournament that week. So, and my game was as sharp as it's ever been. I was putting lights out, driving the ball well, hitting the ball where I wanted to. So I feel like my game was in a lot better shape, and I almost felt like I was on cruise control during the CJ Cup. But, nonetheless, I mean, Colonial is a hard golf course, especially for a longer hitter like myself. A lot of guys don't really necessarily hit it long and play well there. So that week I drove it unbelievable. Didn't hit the irons, so I wasn't quite as sharp with the irons, but I got it done when it needed to happen. I made the few putts down the stretch, leaking a little bit of oil, coming 15, 16, made a nice putt on 17, and then my life got a little easier on 18. But nonetheless, I drove it great that week. And when I drive it in the fairway on a short golf course, I got a lot of wedges, got a lot of opportunities.
When you win that tournament, every tournament's got its own little thing. Like when you win the CJ Cup, you get I saw you get the black plaque. Rory got it this week. You've got one as well. But when you win Colonial, you get a jacket, you get your plaid jacket, and you also got the power wagon. So my question is, and be honest, have you worn the plaid jacket anywhere since that Sunday when you put it on?
Well, that Sunday, I have to admit that I didn't wear my jacket. I wore Phil's jacket.
Really?
During the ceremony, yeah. I looked inside. I go like this and look in the pocket. It says Phil Mickelson on it. So I wore Phil's jacket. I don't know where my jacket is. I think it's still being made, or they're leaving it in my locker there at Colonial. So nonetheless, it's kind of one of those things. And I can't wait to actually put the plaid jacket on, ride in the power wagon, go to dinner in it. So that'll come full circle. But the power wagon is as good as it was when it was standing on the 10th tee there at Colonial. It's in my garage, and I drive the hell out of it.
Oh, you do? So you actually have to take that home and you drive it.
Oh yeah, it's in my garage. I take it I took it to the golf course a couple weeks ago before I left for Vegas, and I drive it. I think it's fun. It's loud. I wake the neighborhood up, and
That's
it's a cool.
badass.
It's a cool. A lot of people ask me like, "Do you get to keep that for life?" I was like, "Yeah." They gave Kevin Na when he won. He got a '73 Charger, I believe.
Oh,
During COVID, they didn't build one. So I think Daniel Berger. I finished third to Daniel Berger. I had a putt on 18 to tie to go into that playoff. But I'll tell you what, no car that week. But I saw that Power Wagon at the beginning of the week on Wednesday, and I said, "Yep, I want that truck." So you dangle a good enough carrot in front of me, I'm like one of those racehorses. We'll get out and get after it. So
how'd you get it
more.
from Colonial back to Ohio? Did you drive it, or did they handle that for you?
I should have just jumped in there with all my stuff and driven it home and enjoyed every minute of it. But
Exactly.
that's it. The gas mileage is not great on that thing, so they put it on a trailer. It actually beat me home, to be honest. I went to Charlotte for a couple of days to enjoy. My wife and we went there to see some friends for 2 days, and then actually the truck was delivered. And my father-in-law got to put it in the garage, and he had to take the weather stripping off of my garage to fit it in. So it fits in my garage, but not by more than about a half an inch.
Wow, that's amazing. You said that you are a long hitter. We know that. You've been a long hitter since the day you came on tour. And it's weird. Your name sounds like you hit the ball a long ways. Jason Kokrak. That doesn't sound like a guy that hits it short.
No.
And distance has been a very large part of golf lately. Some people don't like the distance. Some people think we're hitting it too far. There's no amateur, myself included, that thinks we hit it too far. But I know that people are complaining. Is distance something that you focused on always, or is it something that's just kind of come natural to you?
To be honest, my dad, when I was a kid, sent me to a local guy around here. He was the head pro at my home club for a while, named Dennis Miller, not the comedian, but he actually got into the U.S. Open. He qualified at Scioto a couple of years ago, and he made a putt on 18. It was on ESPN, and it was fun for me to see him get into that tournament. But he sent me to him when I was a kid. I was undersized. I was only 5'4" going into high school, so I was a smaller guy. Didn't hit it very far, but I had a big growth spurt, and he sent me to him and kind of showed me a few things and just ways to get a little bit more distance. And once I got a little bit taller, and I started hitting the ball further and further, and then once I got a little bit of weight on me in college, I really started to hit it far. So it kind of came natural after going to see him, and once I got bigger, but. It's one of those things. It's really hard to teach speed, but you can fix direction. So I always had the hand speed and the eye-hand coordination. But once I got 6 foot to 6'4", that makes hitting the ball far a lot easier. So I see a lot of these guys, smaller guys, swinging out of their shoes, leaving the ground when they're swinging to hit it far. And that's all well and good, but how on your body, you got to be. That's a lot of wear and tear on your body. And for me, I don't exceed 70-80%. So it's kind of one of those things. I just go out there and when I'm freed up, swinging well, I can hit the ball with anybody. I think Bryson has done some stuff recently that is pretty impressive. But what's that going to do to your body down the road? I know he's working out a bunch, but I think your body ends up breaking down after a while. We saw it in Tiger Woods. We saw it in a couple other guys. But swinging within yourself and being able to hit it far is is a big thing for me.
You bring up a good point there. You kind of glossed over it. You said that when you go out and swing, you're like 70-80%. Is that what most tour guys are? When you're standing on a tee box, you don't have to kill it. You want to put it in the fairway. It is at any time, even in an iron swing. Are you swinging 70-80% most of the time?
I would say 70-80% most of the time. If there's a bunker out there, maybe push it. Very few of us ever get to 100%. We're all trying to hit it, a distance. We're all trying to hit like wedges, a certain distance, 8, 9 iron, 5 iron, a certain distance. Driver's a little different. You have to relearn golf courses, and if you're hitting it like with Bryson, he used to hit it this far, and now that he's hitting it 340, 360, 370 in the air, he's got to realign his mentals to play a golf course the way he's going to play a golf course now. So, for me, I know how far I hit it in a practice round, and then I know how far I hit it during a tournament. So, as I said earlier, like when I'm freed up swinging well, I hit it as far as anybody out there on tour. I keep it up, with most of the guys. I mean, Cameron Champ is in a different ballpark. Finau can get into that ballpark if he chooses, but Finau can get it into the 200-mile-an-hour ball speed. But what's that going to do to his body down the road? And you have to hit it straight. If you hit it 360 crooked, I'd rather hit it 320 in the fairway. So that's just the way I look at things, and I can definitely keep it up there. But playing well on the PGA Tour is you have to hit it straight. Length is definitely a plus, but it's not a necessity. I mean, you look at the likes of some of the shorter guys on tour. Kevin Na is always notoriously one of the shorter guys on tour, but also he's kept his card and won, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 times on the PGA Tour, and he hits it 265, 270 in the air. So, putting is a big thing, but you got to play from the fairway on this tour, or you're really going to struggle but as of late, I would say distance is a huge thing, because the PGA Tour is not setting up golf courses hard anymore. They're not picking hard golf courses. They keep putting all these, picking these golf courses or putting new tournaments in play, but they're soft green with slow greens and, not really get in trouble. Last year when I won at Shadow was not the case. The greens were super firm. Fairways were kind of soft. They weren't firm, but if you got it out of position, you really didn't have an option besides to hit it to 20, 25 feet and try to get it down from there. So I think the PGA Tours, they need to step it up a notch and either pick harder golf courses or choose golf courses that when they get a new event, they gave away the tournament at Firestone here. And I think if you ask 90% of the PGA Tour, that's going to be in the top 3 or 4 golf courses that they play all year round. And they haven't even thought about bringing a tournament back to that golf course. So we're always picking courses on the West Coast. This time of year, Firestone's probably the best golf course on the planet.
Wow. Do you like a drivable par 4? Do you like, or
Love
do
it.
you like, so I feel like we're seeing more and more. There's almost like one a week now where you get one, it's risk reward. And I like to see more of those. I like to see them when they're, I guess you can't change where it falls on the golf course, but I like when they fall like 14, 15, 16, somewhere near the end, because it's obviously going to determine the tournament coming down on Sunday. But do most tour players like to have a drivable par 4 somewhere on the golf course?
Well, my view on that is I think it brings more fans into a drivable par 4. They love sitting there and watching drivers come in, or 3-woods, or whatever it may be. I mean, one of the toughest par 4s on the planet right now is 10 at Riviera, which is a drivable par 4. It's not, it's only 375 to the front edge, or 275 to the front edge. It's not a far hole. And if you think about it, the year I finished second, I laid it up all 4 rounds. And I'm a bomber. I could hit 3-wood in the middle of that green all day long. But if you get it in the wrong spot, you're going to make a bogey. And a bogey,
especially if you miss
it
it
left.
You missed it left under those trees, you're done.
Yeah, or in those bunkers. Over the years, those bunkers with all that sand being splashed out, the green has become not so much concave, that it's been convex. It's more of a, it's a tabletop on the green. It's become the, either side used to, really, if you hit a good bunker shot, it would stay like on the fringe near the bunker, but it wouldn't fall down. And now that it falls down into the bunker every time, and it's become harder and harder over the years. But nonetheless, I think it's great to have a little bit of, fire in a golf course, to have a drivable par 4, a gettable par 5, and, a tough par 4 to finish. And I think a lot of the PGA Tour golf courses, it's fun for us to play a short par 3, a long par 3, and then kind of 2 in the middle. Now, some golf courses, they're all 200 plus, 210 plus, and it's just like, all right, this is a tough par 3. Let's hit it in the middle of the green and, get away from here. You'll see more fireworks on a shorter par 3, making 2s and 4s instead of a longer one, and everybody hits it in the middle of the green.
So how do you, in your opinion, how do you think they should set up these golf courses? What's the thing to do? Is it to kind of grow the rough in and make fairways a premium?
Yeah, longer rough, firmer greens, faster greens. I know certain weeks don't necessarily bode well because of weather or what have you, but overall the golf courses have been set up pretty easy. When's the last time you saw a single digit win a golf tournament on the PGA Tour?
Right.
You don't
It's
see
not a
that now.
major.
It's
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a major, but we're the best in the world. We deserve to be tested a little bit better than you know these golf courses that anybody could win on, because it's hit the fairway, and then it becomes a putting contest, and 20, 22, 25, 26, 28 under par. Once a year that should happen. You should get it in the mid 20s, in my personal opinion. But if you can't get these golf courses any harder, they're going to start talking about rolling the game back. We can go to a golf course that has firm, fast, long, rough. I mean, and not anybody can win. You have to be at the top of your game to win at these golf courses. And I just think, the PGA Tour is not doing that, or they're just settling for a golf course that they can host a golf tournament at. I think the one thing that I have a hard time with, it's okay to have a week off. We're diluting the game of golf. I mean, you see, like, when football takes an off season, everybody freaks out, and then when it comes back, everybody goes nuts. So that's one thing the tour has kind of lost. It's like week in and week out. We have December off, but they have the shark shootout during December. But other than that, there's nothing. But then once the tour starts back up, it's a never ending season.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, you're exactly right. It could stand to be sometimes leave people wanting a little bit more instead of just giving them too much of what they already want.
Yeah, and that's just my personal view. I don't know. If you ask me a question, you're going to get an answer for it. And
that's exactly why I wanted you on the show, because that's exactly what I want. I want somebody with an opinion, not like, yeah, everything's great. I love everything the tour does, and it's the greatest thing ever. That's not what we want.
Competition is good for everybody.
Oh, absolutely, without a doubt. Have you thought about at all, and obviously this was the next question that I had, have you thought about at all this Premier Golf League? Is that something that in your mind, do you see that as a possibility?
I see it as a possibility, depending on, the amount of events, the longevity, the amount of money we're, either guaranteed or playing for. The tour, I think it's good for the tour, because they're creating a little bit of a buzz, a little bit of, as I said, competition. And you're seeing more and more purses go up in money. You're seeing more and more, the PIP thing was, I think, an absolute joke. And you knew which guys were going to get the money. It's a high school popularity contest, and that's not what the PGA Tour is about. And if they want to do that kind of stuff, I'm going to just say whatever and go with it. They've got plenty of money to do other things in a better fashion. And but at the end of the day, we're out there to play some golf and have a little bit of fun. And I'm going to enjoy my time on the PGA Tour. But I definitely think the Premier League could be in play. I'd love to see some competition, some different stuff out on the PGA Tour, instead of quote unquote the rat race that the never ending season. I mean, last year was a little different with COVID and everything else that happened. I feel like the season is it's long. It's, if you don't play, you're behind the eight ball. But I think you're seeing more and more players take their time off when they need the time off.
Well, two things we've seen changes. I know you said you're not a fan of the PIP, and I'm not sure if the Bryson Brooks deal we dealt with pretty much most of the year last year, if that was driven by PIP. I don't think there's really any way to know.
I don't think there's any real way to know the PIP. I'm sure they both took it and ran with it. I don't think either one of them had that big of a problem with each other. If you do have a problem, I'm a Midwesterner guy, Northeastern Ohio. If you got a problem with me, if you want to take it to me, I'll no problem. But the social media, the little jabs here and there, that's fine. But at the end of the day, I mean, they're both fully grown adults. If they need to have a conversation, they would have a conversation either in the locker room or on the putting green where nobody else could hear, and get it over and done with. But with the PIP, I think they both were able to take it and use it for their own benefit, which I have no problem with, and I thought it was fun to listen to here and there.
My favorite part of the PIP is that a guy that didn't hit a shot looks like he's going to win it all, which is exactly what we thought was going to happen before it even started. Tiger Woods is the needle.
Yeah, he is the needle, and everybody says he's the needle, which he is. I mean, he is the driving force that grew the game so much. I mean, we owe Arnold Palmer, Jack Nicklaus, Gary Player, those guys back in the day of driving the PGA Tour to what it is. And then the amount of money we're playing for now is, thanks to Tiger Woods. He brought he brought a whole different generation to this sport and drove the ratings through the roof. And anytime he shows up to a tournament or even talks about showing up to a tournament, and drives ratings up, he is the needle. And I hope and I pray all the time that there's nothing better for the game of golf than to have Tiger Woods back, and or either be at a tournament playing, coaching, doing whatever he wants to do. But hopefully we can get him back as soon as possible. But if the accident that he had, if there's anybody that could come back from something like that, it would be him.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I would love to have him back, but at the same time, the most important thing is that he can walk. He can be a father to Charlie, Sam,
Yep.
and Alexa. I mean, those are the most important things. However, I would love to see him back on the golf course again. And if there is anybody that can do it, I'll never count him out, because he's been counted out before, and you always see that he tends to always find a way to figure it out. And I think that will happen again. I'd love to see him back, but there's a lot of changes going on. I saw now that if you play so many events, the tour
Yep.
will reward you with an extra bonus. But don't you have to play that many events almost anyways to keep your card to be,
Yeah, without a doubt, you got to play that many events. I think it's one of those things. I've been talking to a couple of the PGA Tour officials, not rules officials, but the higher ups with the PGA Tour. I said, you see so many of these rookies, because I was in that spot, 11 short years ago, as a rookie, and going out there and playing, your ass off and playing 15 to 20 events, but you have an off year, you're playing against the best players in the world, you're playing golf courses you've never seen before, you're learning 3 golf courses for a certain event, you're learning 2 at Torrey Pines. It's not easy, and you see these guys go out there and maybe make 15, 20, 50 grand for the year. It takes a lot more money than that. And we have sponsors, but those sponsors, as a rookie contract, are not enough to supersede the amount of money that you're going to use in travel and other expenses,
Right.
caddy, whatever, what have you. So I think the tour, if you make the PGA Tour, you should not lose money for that year. And I think that's a start for the PGA Tour if you play 15 events, to give the 50 grand. But I think it needs to be more than that. I think 150 to 200 would be a fair number. If you play that many events as a rookie and or a player, you should get that money, because you should not have to play. Any other sport has an owner, and if the PGA Tour wants to tell us what to do, they need to start paying us as such, and then they could start telling us to play these pro-ams, or do this or do that. I think, but the greater note is, as a rookie, you should not lose money by earning the highest level of card for our sport. Outside of winning a major and stuff like that, you've gotten to the epitome, the best tour on the planet, and you shouldn't have to lose money doing so.
Are you better off as a rookie, Jason, to sometimes pick some of the, whether it's obviously if you qualify for a B field, if you don't get in, there's an alternate field. It's probably a little bit better chance for you to make some money that week. But are you better off to choose some of the fall series events and some of these other events where it's not, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4 are all playing and you got a better chance?
Yeah, without a doubt. But those rookies really don't have an option. Depending on where you're at on that list, you play whenever you get into a tournament. I had a guy text me, "Thanks for withdrawing from the Zozo," so he gets another start. He gets a limited field, no cut event, which is huge for rookies. They can go out there and play 4 straight rounds and play their ability. If you go to a tournament and you miss the cut, you make 0, but you're shelling out all the airline tickets, all your room and board, food, caddy. You're losing 5 to 10 grand for the week by missing a cut. So for rookies, I tell them all, don't wear yourself out trying to learn these golf courses. They're still golf courses. Go out there, be ready to play, and enjoy yourself, because you've made it here. But go out there, but don't wear yourself out on the driving range.
Right. As far as rule changes go, I know last week they said that they're going to change the driver ruling to 46 inches is no longer allowed. The driver that you play, is it 46 inches?
No, it's about barely 45 inches to the end of the grip. I think it's 44 and 5/8 cut. and then the end of the grip will make it a 45 inch golf club. I I don't see why they're rolling back the driver. If Phil wants to, Phil was never a guy that hit it super straight to begin with, but
Right.
if he wants to try to hit a 47 inch driver far and straight, more power to him. I tried to hit a 47 inch driver. It's not easy. It takes a large adjustment period to learn how to swing a golf club like that. Your lines are different. The ball flight's going to be different. You might not, like, I hit a draw, but I hit a fade with a longer golf club. So, I think it's a big difference. And I don't think that's necessarily going to help the game of golf. Everybody wants to see us hit it far, and hitting it, like, watching Bryson is awesome. I sit and antagonize him on the range. I'm like, you can't hit it this far. You can't do this. And, we'll have a little, friendly match out there. Not like I'm hitting any shots, but just antagonizing him a little bit. But I just don't, I think it's just, the rule changes as of late have been, quick. And the process is, we want stuff done on the PGA Tour a little bit faster than it has been in the past. But, rolling back the driver was, like, kind of a quick thing. I feel like all these different rule changes have been almost too quick, and just like as a vote. And I don't know where it's coming from, but then again, I'm not paid to make any decisions. I'm paid to hit the ball. So
no, I agree with you. I mean, if you watched Bay Hill this year, what did everybody in the world was talking about? What at Bay Hill? Could Bryson drive number 6?
Yeah, but he didn't even drive number 6. He hit it over the water, but he did not hit it on the green.
Correct,
which is damn near impossible.
But everybody watched it, and drew so many eyes. I mean, my wife is not a huge golf fanatic, but yet she even thought that was fun to watch. It was cool. It was great. It's putting eyes on our sport that maybe we haven't had in the past, and I don't know why we would try to put a rule in play that could possibly take those eyes off of our sport and give them somewhere else.
Yeah. I mean, the 46 inch, I mean, I think maybe 47, but like, the long drivers use 48 to 50, maybe 52 used to be the number, but, I don't think I'll ever use a longer driver. Maybe for a fun golf outing, I'll break out the driver that I have at 47 inches, but like, I feel like I could swing a shorter one faster than I can a longer one, just because you'll have more control with it. That's the name of the game. But I've never had a problem since I've been out on tour of length. So I always want to hit the ball straight. So if I want to hit the ball farther, I just swing harder. I use another 5 or 10% in that 70 to 80% range. I've always got a little bit extra in the tank, but that part of the game, or that decision, doesn't affect me. Just like the belly putter, the anchoring thing doesn't really affect me. So and my decision is, whatever you guys think is the best, that's fine. But that doesn't really affect me. So I'm going to continue to do what I do, and go from there.
Well, Bryson's distance obviously turned some heads when he came out and just started bashing it all over the place.
Yeah.
And Rory admitted that he had tried to make some speed gains and had a detrimental effect on other parts of his game. Does Bryson's distance, has it ever made you want to hit it further, or are you happy with where your game is and you just doing your own thing?
Yeah, I can get in the gym and I can hit it as far as Bryson if I chose to. But I'm looking at myself, and I hit it 305 to 320 in the air, depending on the hole or the swing or whatever. But the thing is like, if Bryson ever optimizes the swing speed that he's achieving, and able to bring down the spin, which it's damn near impossible to do at his speed, and still use equipment that's legal by PGA Tour standards. He hasn't optimized his length yet. I'm swinging at 121 with 181 or 2 mile an hour ball speed, and he's swinging at 130 something, and getting into the 190s. But then he has to swing even harder to get it into the 200s. But like, if I swing at 130 and swing the same way I do now, my ball speed would be in the mid 190s. So nonetheless, I'd like to hit it a little bit farther, but I think finding the right driver to hit it straight, to get a little confidence, to free you up, is the main key for me to hitting it a little bit further.
Right. There's been some talk of betting on the golf course almost. Like, it seems like there'll be like betting stations at a PGA Tour event. Where do you stand on this? What are your thoughts on that?
I got this question a couple times last week because I wear MGM Resorts or Bet MGM on the front of my hat. I think it's great for our sport. It brings a separate fan to our sport, and it's a driving force behind the game of golf. It's only going to grow the game. We signed an affidavit at the beginning of the year that we're not going to leak out information on any certain player or a circumstance or whatever. Like I have friends of mine that are like, hey, can you help me out with whatever, who's playing well, can you help me pick my lineup? I'm like, man, we're not supposed to do that. And at the end of the day, I mean, people that yell out, I picked you in my fantasy. I'm like, well, my life is not a fantasy. This is my job. This is what I'm doing. Your fantasy could be your fantasy. And that I love it when they get all rowdy out there, but it's
right.
Getting worn out on Instagram or Twitter or whatever it is after a poor round is not exactly what I want to hear after the round. If you have something to tell me, you can tell it to my face, or if you want to tell me that your fantasy league went down the drain in person, I'd be more than happy to listen to you in person. But I do not
right.
tweet me or send me a message that I'm a dog and you're a piece of what for playing like crap. Yeah, you think I wanted to play like crap? No.
Yeah,
but,
the keyboard cowboys. Yeah, the keyboard cowboys are always out in full effect, man.
Yeah, I'm not a keyboard cowboy, and I'm more of just, if you got a problem with me, tell me to my face, and we can figure it out from there.
Yeah, I mean, the gambling thing is just weird. Like it adds a nice aspect. I could see it great. For example, where I am here, right around the corner from TPC Sawgrass, I could see it great as you gambling on, is the guy going to hit it in the water, hit it on the green on 17.
Yeah.
But then you get into guy puts down a lot of money, gets somebody to yell in the backswing. Like I feel like there's some pitfalls and some sticky situations that could arise.
No question. I talked to a few guys in the last couple of weeks, and even before that cracking a beer in your backswing when you're right near the ropes, or having your phone go off, or screaming in somebody's backswing. That's all part of the game of golf. But I'll tell you what, since the betting, I think it's happening more and more. And if the individual bets, I think, are the thing that's going to be tricky. People are betting a lot of money, and it's their livelihood that they're putting on the line, and we're playing golf for our livelihood. And when the two meet, it's going to go one way or the other. I think right now it's good for the game, but if you see that more and more, you've seen the tour say, if you say anything or cracking down on people yelling whatever they're yelling, I just don't think that's part of the game. But if you're going to bet, if you don't try to influence that bet after the fact, and I think 100%. That's one thing that people can do on the PGA Tour is influence a certain bet. If you're betting on football, it's loud everywhere. Those football players can't hear anything. So it's a little different with our sport and or maybe even tennis. But I mean, if you're yelling at a tennis match, you're getting probably kicked out pretty quick.
Right, exactly. I agree with that. Jason, you've been great, man. But before we're done, we always do this. We're going to play an emergency 9 real quick. I'm going to ask you 9 questions, and you just give me the first thing that comes to mind, all right?
Oh, boy.
All right, here we go. First one, Amazon or go to the store and go shopping?
Go to the store.
Really?
Yeah, my wife would say the exact opposite, and I use Amazon all the time. But, I mean, people are getting lazy. Go to the store, walk it out, get the stuff you need, and go home. It's part of life. Don't sit your ass at home and Amazon everything. Go out, drive your car. I don't care if it's electric or not. Go somewhere and do something.
I feel seen. I feel attacked. I'm guilty of the same thing. All right, here we go.
I do it.
I do too. Your favorite player to play a Pro-Am with?
Ooh, favorite player to play a Pro-Am with. I've had so many good ones as of late. I made a lot of friends. I got a couple buddies that are hockey players, got a couple buddies that are football players, baseball players. I want a group that goes out there and has fun. The one that I get all the time is, hey, I'd really like to win this event this year. That's like a telltale sign. I am not going to have a good day. I got to read every putt. I'm going to grind, whatever. Yeah. I want to go out there and have a little bit of fun, meet you guys, network a little bit. That's the name of the game.
Tell you why your swing sucks. Tell you what you're doing wrong. Like, all that's good.
A whole playing lesson for 6 hours.
Right, exactly. What's on Jason Kokrak's Masters dinner menu?
Ooh, Masters dinner menu. We're doing ribeye, 2-inch
Oh,
cut monster cowboy ribeye, bone in, bone out, doesn't matter. Definitely doing a potato, Brussels sprouts, salad to begin with. I'm not a big dessert guy. I'd rather just have more of my own meal. So that'll be a good one. We'll definitely have a glass of bourbon and definitely a glass of good California cab with dinner.
damn, I can't wait. Damn, I'm going to break into that meal. That sounds good.
Hell, you can come to my house. You can come to my house tonight. We're probably gonna have the same thing.
What kind of music you playing on the golf course?
Listen to pretty much everything. I don't listen to the hardcore metal, and I don't listen to a ton of country, but more and more, a little bit more country than I ever used to. But I listen to a plethora of stuff, of hip hop, R&B, a lot of rock, a lot of pretty much anything.
Right.
Just something that has a good rhythm to it, and I can listen to it and drown out some of the crazy fans.
What Netflix, Apple, what are you watching right now? What are you streaming?
You know what? I started. I know I'm late to the game. I just started Ted Lasso. So
Oh my God, my son just started it. He loves it. I haven't watched any of it yet, but everybody says it is amazing.
it is really funny. So like everybody was talking about Be a Goldfish. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? So I finally watched that episode, and it Be a Goldfish. It's short-term memory, and that's a great one. So that's what I'd like to. I need to get back into that, but a couple shows here and there. But that's the one I'm watching right now.
After a round, beer, booze, or wine?
Ooh, hot day beer.
Beer.
Bush
Okay.
Bush Light, not to give Bush Light a bump, but hey, that's what I got in my fridge.
That's right. You're on the road, wake up early, head to the Starbucks, or hotel coffee does it for you?
I really wish I didn't have to go to the hotel. I'd love to see Starbucks, but you know what? I just don't. Sometimes you just don't have time. In Vegas last week, the lines at Starbucks were 60 people deep, and I just said, you know what? I'll get a coffee at the course. So
Exactly.
yeah, anything will suffice.
Your social media choice: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or are you in the TikTok challenge?
I am definitely not a TikToker. My wife's trying to get me to download it. I'm not going to be dancing.
No.
If my kids want me to do TikTok, my giant ass would be dancing all over the place for them. But right now, I search the internet, Instagram a little bit, Twitter a little bit, but I'm not a TikToker as of yet.
All right, our ninth hole. What 3 words best describe your golf game right now?
Roll, bomb, and solid.
Solid. I like that. Those are 3 good words. That's good. That means we got some good things coming. Where can we see Jason Kokrak play next? What's coming up?
I'm got a couple weeks off. I actually am. I was going to play Mayakoba down in Mexico, but I got word a couple weeks ago, about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I am being inducted into my local hometown sports hall of fame. So
Nice. Congratulations, man.
Yeah. So I'm going to take that week off, and then I'm going to play Houston and RSM. But I'm only going to play RSM if the weather's going to be nice, and then I'm definitely going to play Shark Shootout.
Nice. Well, congratulations, man. Congrats on your 2 victories. Hopefully we'll see more this year. Appreciate your candidness and honestness, man. Great stuff out of you, and good luck moving forward.
I appreciate it. You too, and thanks for having me.
You got it, man. Thank you so much. We'll be back next week with another Froggy Wednesday on the Stripe Show podcast.